So it's already 8:31. Yes. So in the last classes, we were seeing about module 2. Record agide, quiz agide. Anything else we have left? Recording is there. That's in chat window. You have the quiz link. Because sometimes what happens is we try forget doing one with other. Sometimes I forget. Anyone can please remind me when if I am not recording. Anytime. Now I have done, but sometimes I may forget. Okay. So now, so in the last class, we have started with the module 2. Okay. Okay, we have done with all this. Let me just brief out what we have done in the last few classes. In module 2, we have started with relational model, and we have seen what is relational model. Relational model is something like where you everything what you have studied in maths, the same concept is being used here. Something like intersection, union, minus, all these you have studied in your maths. So that concept is used in a relational model. Okay, so then we have something called as a in DBMS we were calling it as a table, whereas here in this case we are calling it as a relation. Student is one relation, course is another relation, section is another relation, grade report is another relation, prerequisite relation. So in the relational algebra terms, what we call table 9 anta karitivi, table na student relation anta karitivi. So here what we have so many relations. Student is one relation, course is another relation, section is another relation, grade report is another relation. Like this we call with respect to relational algebra the tables as a relation. And who was the person who has invented this relational model, or who bought this relational model? Was by Dr. Ford of IBM in 1970, and he wrote a paper by the title "A Relational Model for Large Shared Data Banks" in a journal called ACM in the year 1970, in the month of June. And we have seen what are the formal definitions of a relation. Informally, what we call informally table is called as a relation. And whatever set rows we have, so we have set of rows. So now if we take an example, your third semester MCA students, how many of you are there? 51. So I should enter, suppose if I want to enter all your details, I want your USN, I want your name, I want your phone number, I want all your third semester subjects. Then what I do, I keep entering one student by student. So then how many students have to enter like that? I have to enter 51 students. So then what is that called? That is called as a set of rows. One row is for one student. Like that, how many rows have to generate? I have to generate 51, because your strength for third semester is 51. So that is what is called as a relation, may be thought of as a set of rows. And the same way, now in a row, we spoke about row. So whereas what is about a column? So column we are also using. So first we are using first column as serial number, because I have to count whether 51 students details are there or not. So I want count. So in that case, I start with serial number. Then I use a USN number. Then I use your name. So like that, we keep entering column by column. So then a relation may alternatively be thought of a set of columns. How many columns we have like that? There are so many columns. Maybe first is serial number, next column is USN, next is name, next is your phone number, next is your 31, 32 subject codes. Like that we may have n number of columns we may have. Then each row represents a fact that corresponds to a what is this fact giving to us, and what is the entity? You are the student. Student is one entity. What is a real world entity? Your student relation is real world entity. If I say third semester students, is what all third semester MCA students of the batch. So you have your USN number. So that batch, and what is the relationship we have? So all 51 students of third semester are studying in third semester. in Department of MCA in the MSIT college. So that's what we call it as a entity or a relationship. So then how do we identify ಕಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. Okay, then each row has a value of an item. So then what we call it as a each row has a value of an item or a set of uniquely identified that rows in the table. Sometimes row IDs or sequential numbers are signed. So then formally, how do we define a relational formal definition? A relation may be defined in multiple ways. The schema of relation R, A1, A2, etc., AN. And the relation schema R is defined over attributes A1, A2, etc., AN. So then what we call customer ID, customer name, address, and phone number. So here, customer is the relation defined over the 4 attributes. So what are the 4 attributes we have here? Customer ID, customer name, address, and phone number. So this is what is called as a what type of relation it is. It is a customer relation. What is the name of the relation we have? We have a customer relation. Okay. And what is a domain? Domain means what? From where we have taken, that is 6-digit number. So suppose if we say customer ID, what should be the length of this customer ID? They have told that it should be 6. And what should be the value in that customer ID? It should be digits. Digit number should be there. So in the same way, like that, we can restrict customer name, address, phone number. So in relational algebra terms, what we call formal definition of relational algebra, a tuple. So one row, what we are calling it as a tuple. Tuple in an ordered set of values. And we have seen how to represent. Take one example, 632895 is one customer name. What is the name of this customer? Customer name is John Smith. What is the address? This is what the address, and this is the phone number. So like this, we may have so many columns. This is one column, example for customer. And we have seen that in a domain. So if I say phone number, I may have the phone number. First, I may start with year, month, and date, or I may start with day, month, and year. So anything we can do. So that's what we have seen in the last classes. And we have seen even with the formal definition. So what was the formal definition of the relation? Formally, we say that R, capital R is a relation. A1, A2, etc., AN are all attributes. And we define R of R is a subset of domain A1, Cartesian product domain A2, etc., domain AN. R, schema of the relation. R of R, specific value or population of the R. R is also called as an intension of the relation, and R is also called as an extension of the relation. So let us take a small example. If we say S is one relation, S1 is one relation, S2 is another relation. In S1, how many values we have? We have 0 and 1. In S2, how many are there? A, B, C. Now, if I say S1 and S2 is a Cartesian product of R. What is Cartesian product? How we do? All the elements which are present in S1 and all the elements which are present in S2 with Cartesian, do the operation, Cartesian operation. So what we do? Take first one, 0, A, 0, B, 0, C. Then 1, A, 1, B, 1, C. Like this we keep doing. Then that is what is called as a Cartesian product. So whereas in this example, we have just taken only 3 tuples. So that is R is subset of R1 into Cartesian product R2. So that is what is called as R is a relation, and it is having the subset of S1 into S2. So formally and informally, how do we call? So informally, we call it as a table, whereas in the relational, we call it as a relation. And informally, we call it as a column, and here we call it as a domain. So informally, we call it as a row, and formally, we call it as a tuple. So in the informal terms, we call it as a column, and here we call it as a domain. So here we call it as a table definition, and here we call it as a schema of relation. Then we call it as a populated table and extension. So just taking an example here, you can see this is one relation. What is the name of the relation? Name of the relation is student. And what are the attributes we have here? Name, SSN, home phone number, address, office phone number, age, and GP. So along with that, tuples. So these are number of rows what we have. So how many we have in this example? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 rows are there. What we call with respect to relational algebra, we call it as a tuples. So then what are the characteristics of the relation? So ordering of a tuples in the relation. So now how should I order you? Whether I should make you to sit in your USN number wise, or it is not required, or should I ask you people to sit in the people who is a topper, or should I say that who got DBMS highest score, should I ask them to sit in that order? So left to us. So the order does not matter in the relation. Any order we can represent. So then ordering of the attributes in the relation. So we just told rows. So which rows we should have? First row, second row, and third row. Which one should be my order? Again, it left to us. So ordering of tuples in the relation. So that's what is called. Then ordering of attributes. So column 1, column 2, like this we may have. In where? In the relation schema R. So then what is R? R of A1, A2, etc. AN. And what is T? T is a row. And here we call it as a tuple. What are the values we have? Now your USN. Let me take 1 BY. What is your USN numbers? You have your USN numbers, right? So what is USN number? 19. 1 BY 19 MCA 02 is what? USN number V1. Then what is V2? Your name. What is V3? Your phone number. What is V4? Your DBMS. 3.1 is your DBMS. Then 3.2, 3.4, like this we may have. So then that is what is called as a ordering of the relation. Then what we have? Values in the tuple. All values are considered as atomic. Atomic means what? Simple. Further I cannot divide. Then how do I represent the characteristics of the notation? We represent something like this as a T of AA. What is T? T is a tuple. Then what is AI? T of AU, AV, etc. AW. So that's how we see that is what is called as a characteristics of the relation. Then in the same way you can see student, name, SSN, phone number, address, home phone number, office phone number, age, and GPA. So this is what is called as a characteristics of the relation. Then we have a referential integrity constraint. What is a referential integrity constraint? We have something. Constraint means what? Condition. So what is a condition for you people to be here? So we have, you people have to join an online class. We are sending the invitation from 8:30 to 4:30. You have to attend. That is a restriction. So that is a condition here. Same thing. A constraints are condition that must hold on all valid relation instances. There are 3 main types of constraints: key constraints, entity integrity constraints, referential integrity constraint. First one is a key constraint. What is key constraint? Super key. Now, your name. First, I'll take your name as your key attribute. Once you come for a first semester, then still your USN will not be generated. Then how do I identify? I'll take your name as your super key. Later, as we come to the end of your first semester, then you will be USN will be generated by university and sent to us. Then what we do? What we will do? We will take name as well as your USN, 2 things as a super key. And when we come to second semester, still for some time we'll keep both your USN and your name as super key. Then you come to third semester, and we because already we know, and you people are also very familiar with your USN, then we start using only your USN. So then that's how those things are called as a super keys. And what is minimal super key we have? Then that is what is called as a key. Now your USN number, when you come to third semester, you know what is your USN number. Then that is what is called as a key. Combination of 2 columns or 3 columns is called as a set of super keys. So now take an example: state and register number. This is one key. Your serial number is another key. If a relation has several candidate keys, one is chosen arbitrarily to be a primary key. The same thing. Now candidate keys means what? Now I told you your name, and initially when you come for first semester, we take only your name as your primary key. And later on, because once you come, USN will be generated, then your name and your USN, we are mixing it into two, and that set we are calling it as a super key. Then in third semester, we call only your USN. So that's what is called as a primary key. So then in this, taking an example for a key constraint, you can see in a car, we have a license number and we have a engine serial number, we have a making, and we have a model and the year. And what is entity integrity? In entity integrity, we should see to that primary key attributes, whatever we have primary key attributes, that should not be null. So that's what you can see. Why it should not be null is, now your USN. So if I know your, in third semester, what we know, we know your USN and you people also know the USN, each one of your USN. So if suppose if I say that Ashok is one student in your class, and if I don't write Ashok's USN number, then how will I identify? It will be difficult. So I cannot leave. That's what is called as the integrity constraints. So in integrity constraints, what we are doing is compulsorily wherever you have a primary key, you cannot enter there as null. That is what is called as a entity integrity. This is one constraint. And one more constraint, referential integrity. So this what is key constraint and super key constraint is only for one table. So now referential integrity is between more than two tables. So how this more than two tables is, first table you will be having a primary key and some contents we want to add it in the second. So then that is what is called as a referential integrity. Take an example for the referential integrity. Once you come for the first semester, we'll create one table where you have your names, all your first semester subjects. And at the end, we'll add your USN numbers. Okay, this is one table. When you come for the second semester, we have different subjects, not the same subjects as your first semester. Then I want to link first semester table and the second semester table. Then what we have to do, then we use your primary key. So primary key in your first semester is USN. And in the second semester, the same primary key we are using here as a foreign key. So that is what is called as a referential integrity. So foreign key we are using. And referring which table is referred and which table is referencing. So that is what we are calling it as a referencing relation and referred relation. And we have just now see primary key, a foreign key, how we should write? We write in a short form as FK, or we write primary key as PK. So that is what the constraint says to us. The referenced primary key, always primary key should not be null. That is what entity integrity constraint says to us. And referential integrity constraint, what it says, in one table you have a primary key, in another table you have a foreign key. So then other types of constraints, what we can see is based on your projects, you can say how many hours we are working. So now I am working for BMSIT College, from which what is my restriction and how many hours I am working, that is left to the individual colleges. Same way, even in your projects also, you will be having different number of hours you are working. So then we have seen, this is one example. This is what is called as a schema diagram for a company relation. So in this schema diagram, what are the relations we have in this complete, so many tables gives us, this relation schema gives us a complete one a project, that is company relation. So then what is this employee? Employee is one relation. Department is another relation. Department location is another relation. Project is another relation. Works on is another relation. Dependence is another relation. So the employee is first name, middle name, and last name. Then social security number, birth date, address. So male, female, salary, super. So this is all what the definition of your table, what columns we have. Then this one we are calling it as a schema diagram. So what is this or called? Schema diagram. Then you may ask me why only one attribute, that is SSN, is underlined. So we underline in the relation SSN to say that SSN is a primary key. So now this was a schema diagram. So now you start entering some values into the table. So then that is what is called a state relational database state. So now you have so many details. So now suppose you may think that you have completed your MCA and you leave BMS IT college, or you get a job in some company. Then what? Then we have to delete. Will we delete? We'll create separate table for the people who are joining new. So then that is what here the state of your relation. So today you are in third semester, next semester you'll go for fourth semester. This keeps changing. That is what is called as a schema diagram. So then how do we refer all this? We refer a primary key, and this is what is a foreign key. Same way we point out what are the values we have. So then we have seen about insert tuple, delete tuple, and modify. So insert operation, so I can insert until unless you give proper values in a proper column. So now we know that this null is a SSN number. What is this null is SSN number? SSN number is a primary key, we have told. So when we say primary key, then we have told that we should not have null in a primary key place. So then in that case, insertion will not be done. So in the same way, in this case, 999,877 is USN already there for one person. So now again you are inserting the same SSN social security number for the employee, then it will not take. Same way, how you have your USN number? Already one student, one BY 19 MCA 01 is there. So now again in the second row also, if I say one BY 19 MCA 01, then what? The insertion cannot be done. So that is what here it says. So in this case, so we have a department number 7. So now suppose you think that in BMS IT college, suppose if we have only 6 departments and I'm trying to insert value into the seventh department, and there is no 7th department, then the insertion cannot be done because departments are only 6. And how come you are entering into the 7th? This insertion will also not work out. And the last one, because it is given in a proper way, proper formats, then this one will be accepted. So this is about an insertion command in the relation thing. Same way deletion also. So deletion also we have to take care properly which one we have to delete. So first one will work out a delete operation. Whereas in the second one, this USN number, the social security number cannot be deleted. Why? Because he is working for 2 projects. One project he has done, but still one more project is there. Then how can I delete? Because still he is not completed. Then I cannot delete. So that these problems will be there. So always we have to take care when we are deleting. So in the same way, this particular social security number cannot be deleted. Why? Because this social security number is there in employee table, it's there in department table, it is there in works on table, and it is also there in a dependents table. So then I cannot delete until unless I delete all this, then I have to go back and delete this. Then it is possible. That's how the delete operation will be working. So then update operation. So today, suppose you think that DBMS first internal got over and you got out of 50, you got 48. And you people, maybe in counting, we would have done mistake. And tomorrow, instead of 48, I have to enter 49. So then I use a update operation. In the DBMS, we use a update operation. Even there also, we have to take care what update operations we have to do. Then what is transaction concept? Transaction means a state. So today you are in 3rd semester. So after 3rd semester, you go for a 4th semester. Means the state of yours get changed. So now even in your WhatsApp also, earlier semester we have given it as MCA 2nd sem. Now we have changed it to 3rd semester. Means what? State is changed. The same way here, even the transaction of the tables also will get changed. In the relational algebra, next we move on to a relational algebra. So this is what 6 basic operations we have just seen also. Select, project, union, intersect, set, difference, intersect, Cartesian product, and rename. So what is unary means what? Unary means doing some operation on only one table or one relation is called as a unary. Which are such type of operator? Select is also one type of unary operator. So we have seen even in the last class what is the relation R. So in the relation R, we have A, B, C, D. So what is this select operation is doing? Select operation will select rows in your table, what type of rows you want. I want, suppose you think that in third semester 51 students are there. I want a student who got highest marks in the DBMS. That particular student details I want. Then what I'll get is complete one row. So in such cases, you can use a select operation. So what is the symbol we are using? This is what is called as a symbol is used. This is what sigma. And along with that, we give some condition. What I want. I want A column should be equal to B column and D column should be greater than 5. And you can check in this. Alpha, what we have? 7. Alpha we have 7. Beta we have 3. Beta we have 10. So out of this also we have to say that A should be equal to B. So first row is A equal to B. And alpha beta, no, I cannot. Beta beta, yes. Beta beta, yes. But again, one more condition, what they say? They say D column should be greater than 5. So in that case, here 7 fine, 7 fine, 3 no, then 10 yes. So out of this 4, which are not satisfying the condition, this row is not satisfying the condition, this row is not satisfying the condition. Then the first and the last are eligible for our selection. So that's what alpha 17, beta beta 23 10. So we can use this. This is our table, filtered table from the original table. R is our table. Out of this table, we want only this much. So out of 4 rows, we have selected only 2. That's what is called as a select operation. So next one, so how do we represent? We use a sigma. This name of this is sigma, and we have seen PP is a predicate, R is a relation. So this is how the tables are. So in this table, I want what I want. You can see here at the end, we have a D number. I want a person who is working for the department 4. Or I want the person whose salary is more than 30,000. From which table? From employee table. So that is what is called as a sigma. Then I want even one more tuple where the department, one employee is working for department and he is getting 25,000 per year. Or I want a person who is working for department 5 and getting more than 30,000. Then how should I write? So we write something like this: sigma department number equal to 4 and salary should be greater than 25. And they've told one more, or department number equal to 5 and greater than 30,000. From which table? From employee table. So this is what is called as a sigma. So this will be your resultant table. So the same way, so what we say, select operation is commutative. So what do we mean by commutative? Commutative means any order I do. Whether I do first A, next B, or first I do B, next A, it's okay. That's what here it says. See here, condition 1, condition 2 for R. You can do either condition 1 first or condition 2 next, it's okay. Or you can do condition 2 first and condition 1. So any order is okay with respect to select operation. So the next we move on to a project operation. So what is this project operation? So a relation, this is what the relation is. And in this case, when we say project operation will be done for the columns. So here in our original column, we have A, B, and C. So in this case, pi equal to A comma C, that is R. Pi is A. What columns I want? I have 3 columns in relation R, but I don't want all 3 columns. I want only 2 columns, that is A and C. So that's what you can see. A is alpha, beta, beta. I got it. And C is what? 1, 1, 1, 2. Whereas in project operator also, the redundant values can be deleted. Now you can see alpha 1 is redundant. Then that I can write it only one time. So that is what is called as a project. So what is project is doing? Project is selecting the columns in your relation. So then how do we represent? We use a symbol called as a pi, and A1, A2 are your column names, attribute names. From which table? From relation R. In the same way, list each employee's first name, last name, and salary. What I want? I want a column, first name, last name, and salary. Columns, 3 columns I want. From which table? From which relation? Employee relation. Same way, let us do one more. I want which columns? Sex, whether male or female, or salary. These 2 columns I want from which table? From employee table. So this is what the resultant table will be there. One example I have just shown you. This is your male or female column and salary column. For this query, this will be working. Okay, similarly, in project operation, what we do, we have just told that project operation removes any duplicates. And sequence of operation. So what we do in sequence of operation? So we answer your attendance. Asta.
Present, ma'am.
Abhinav. Abhinav.
Present, ma'am.
Aishwarya.
Present, ma'am.
Amresh.
Yes, ma'am.
Present, ma'am. Aishwarya, present, ma'am.
Anu.
Present, ma'am.
Yeah, fine. Marked. Arbaz.
Present,
Arjun.
Present, ma'am.
ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ಹುಷಾರಿಲ್ವಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಹಂಗೇನಿಲ್ಲ.
ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಏನೋ ಫುಲ್ ನಗಡಿ ಆದಂಗಿದೆ. ಅಶೋಕ್.
ma'am. Present, ma'am.
ಬೆನಿಟಾ.
Present, ma'am.
ಭಾರ್ಗವಿ.
Present, ma'am.
ಭವಿಷಾ.
Present, ma'am.
ಚೈತ್ರ.
Present, ma'am.
ತೇಮಲೆ.
Present, ma'am.
ದೀಕ್ಷಾ.
Present, ma'am.
ದೀಪಿಕಾ.
Present, ma'am.
ದೀಪಿಕಾ.
Present, ma'am.
ಮುರಳಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣ.
Present, ma'am.
ಗಂಗೂಬಾಯಿ.
Present, ma'am.
ಗುಜಿಯಾ. ಗುಜಿಯಾ. ಹರ್ಷಿತ್.
Present, ma'am.
ಜುಂಜಾರ್.
Present, ma'am.
ಕಾವ್ಯ.
Present, ma'am.
ಕಿಶೋರ್. ಕಿಶೋರ್. ಲತಾ.
Yes, ma'am.
ಮನೀಷಾ.
Present, ma'am.
ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್.
Yes, ma'am.
ನಯನ. ನಯನ. ನೀಲಾಂಜನ್. ನಿಶಾಂತ್.
Present, ma'am.
ಪವಿತ್ರ.
Present, ma'am.
ಮೈಥಿಲಿ.
Present, ma'am.
ಪ್ರಿಯಾಂಕಾ.
Present, ma'am.
ಪವನ್.
Present, ma'am.
ಆಕಾಶ್.
Present, ma'am.
ರಾಜೇಶ್ವರಿ.
Present, ma'am.
ರಾಕೇಶ್.
Yes, ma'am.
ರಮ್ಯಾ.
Present, ma'am.
ರಶ್ಮಿ. ರಶ್ಮಿ. ರವಿ.
Yes.
ರಿಜ್ವಾನ್.
Present, ma'am.
ವಿಶಾಲ್. విశాల్.
ఫోటో అయినా దిగు, మన లైఫ్ లో కూడా ఉంటాడు.
సబిత.
Ma'am, present, ma'am. Mic is not working.
ఫోటో అయినా దిగు,
శృతి.
మన లైఫ్ లో కూడా ఉంటాడు.
Who is that? Please mute. Someone is on.
Ma'am, 13 present, ma'am.
ಆಯ್ತಪ್ಪ.
Present, ma'am.
ಶ್ರುತಿ.
Present, ma'am.
ಸ್ನೇಹ.
Yes, ma'am.
ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ.
Present, ma'am.
ಶ್ರೀನಿಧಿ.
Present, ma'am.
ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್.
Present, ma'am.
ಸುನೀಲ್.
Present, ma'am.
ವೈಷ್ಣವಿ.
Present, ma'am.
ವಿನ್ನಿ.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. So we have stopped here. We continue. What is the thing?
It is 24. Sure.
Why Kishore? Why you didn't answer? Okay, I'll take it at the end. Okay, so now what is sequence of operation and rename operation? Sequence means what? One after the other. So when we do one after the other, sometimes we may use something called as a rename. So why do we rename? Temporarily, we want to store some value in some place. Then we may use something called as a rename operation. Or now the same example, in the last semester, your WhatsApp number for your group was second sem MCA. Now we have changed it to third semester, third sem MCA. So what is that? The what operation we have done? We have done it as a rename. Yes, in the last semester it was 2. Now we have made it as 3. So that's the application where we are using rename. So retrieve the first name. So what is the example we want to do? We want to retrieve first name, last name, and salary of all the employees who work in the department number 5. So in the department number 5, we are working. Those people details are required. So then you can see first name, last name, salary from the department 5. The employee should be working in the department 5 and his first name, last name and salary is required. From which table? From employee. We can do it in single operation or we can split this operation. How we can split? We'll split first. I will select employees rows. Which rows I'll select? Those rows which satisfy this condition. That is department number 5. All the employees who are working in department number 5, I will fetch from employee table and store it in a table called as a department 5 employees. After that, from department 5 employees, I will take first name, last name and salary. This is what is called as a department name. We have named it as a renamed. Intermediate for some purpose we have used. So that's how we are using a rename operator. And this is what is called as a sequence of operation. You can do the sequence in one single line or you can split and do one operation at one time, another operation another time. Either you can do one step by step or you can combine and do it in a one single form. It's left to us how we do it. The rename operator is represented as a row. So then we move on to the relational algebra. So what is this relational algebra says to us? In the relational algebra, we have something called as a union. You would have studied union. What is union? Combining two sets, or same way here also we are combining two relations. R is one relation, S is another relation. Combine these two relations. Then R union S. So you can see A, B. So A is what? Alpha, alpha, beta, beta. Then what is B? 1, 2, 1, 3. So that is what is called as a union operation. So how do we represent it? We represent like this. What is it? R, and the symbol for union you will be knowing. Same way what we use it in a mathematics. Same way R union S. And how we define tuples. T is what? Tuples. Tuple belongs to R or tuple belongs to S. So then R union S to be valid. When do we say it is a valid? When we have some arity bit, then we say it is a union operator. So in the same way, take one example. I want to find out the customer, all the customers in a bank where they have their account as well as loan number. And I have to check out in which table I have an account and in which table I have a loan. So in depositor table we have a account and in borrower table, we have a loan. So in both the things, I want those customer names who has account and who has loan. So that's the reason you can see column. Which column we want? We want a customer name from a depositor relation. Same way, loan, who has loan in a borrower relation. Combine both these two using a union operator. So the same way, to retrieve the social security number of all the employees who either work in the department 5 or directly supervise an employee who works in the department 5. So then how do we represent? That's what just we have seen. Department 5 employees we will fetch, and in department 5 I want only column. Which column I want? Social security number. I'll store that as a result 1. In result 2, I want supervisor SSN. I store it in result 2. Something like I want all the employees in BMSIT college. So if I say employees BMSIT college, in BMSIT college, I want all those employees who are working for MCA department. I store that in a department MCA. And what I'll do, I may get so much details for the employee. What is their salary? What is their age? What is their date of joining? What is a year? So many things, but I don't want all. I just want only social security number of MCA department staff. That I'm storing it in result 1. In MCA department, one more thing what I'm doing, I want to know who is HOD there. I'm storing it in a result 2. Then I want to know how many employees are there in MCA department. Combine these two, then you'll get a resultant table. Yes, so this is what is called as a union. So in the same way, set difference. What is set different operation is also called as a minus. R minus S. The values which are present in R and which are common in B, those I want, R minus S. So in the same way, alpha 1 not there, so keep it. Alpha 2 it is there, yes it is there, so I don't want. Beta 1 it's not there, yes beta 1. So this is called as a R minus S. How do we represent that R minus S? R minus S, T belong to R and T not belong to S. So this is what is called as set difference operation. So then notation R minus S. Then what is intersection? So intersection we are representing like this. So you would have studied in your maths, intersection means common, which are there, which are present in both the sets. Those values we are taking in the intersection. So that's what here R intersection S should be those rows which are there in T relation. T means what? Tuple, which are present in R as well as present in S. Then we call it as a intersection, R intersection S. Or how do I write? One more way of writing intersection is R minus S. So either we can write like this or we can just say R intersection S. So take an example. This is a R relation and this is a S relation. Which are common rows in this? Alpha 2, alpha 2. So that's what here R intersection is. So this is what is called as a alpha 2 and this is what is a intersection. And one more, Cartesian product. So cross product. So then we have R and we have S. So then A, B, C, D, E. Then we have this Cartesian product. So then A, B, C, G and E. So this is what is called as a R Cartesian product S. So that is what is called as a, you do the operation which are take one row, do with second table row. Take first row with second row. First row, third row. First row, last row. Same way, second, first. Second, second. Second, third. Second row, last row. So combine all this, that is what is called as a Cartesian product. How do we define a Cartesian product? R into S. That is what is called as a Cartesian product operation. So that what is R into S? T belong to R, Q belong to S. Assume that attributes of R and S of R are disjoint. Disjoint means not having any values. Yes. So then readable must be used. Take an example, banking example. So banking database. In bank, what are the relations we have? We have a branch relation, we have a customer relation, we have a account relation, we have a loan relation, we have a deposit relation, and we have a borrower relation. So these are the relations available in the banking. So in this banking, I want find all loans over 1200. So what I want in this, how do I select? I want a row. So what the condition? Amount should be greater than 1200. From which relation? From loan relation. So that is what is a first solution. So in the next one, what I want, loan number of each loan number I want for each loan of a amount greater than 1200. First we have done with this. Now in this part I want loan number. What is a loan number? Who has amount, who have taken loan greater than 1200. So what this will do, it will select a row. This will select a column. That's what select and project will be done. So the same way, take some more example. Find the names of all customers who have a loan, an account, or both from the bank. So what I want a person who has their account in Allahabad Bank, account SB account, and who also have loan, who have taken a loan from a Allahabad Bank. I want both. Those two I want it. Those names of customers I want. How should we write? We write something like this. We want to know in which table I'll get an account number, and which table I want a loan. Which table I'll get a deposit. So then using union, we will be using these two and fetching a customer name. In the same way, find the names of all customers who have a loan and an account at a bank. Then what we do? Both. Then we use a intersection. This is for union. This is for intersection example. Then take some more examples. So find the names of all customers who have loan at a Perry Ridge branch. So what branch name? Branch name is Avalalli branch. I want those customer names. Along with that, what I want? Loan number. Yes. So loan number should be there in the Avalalli branch. So those details we are giving here. Same way we can write like this also. Find the names of all customers who have a loan at a Perry Ridge branch but do not have an account at any branch of the bank. So what we do, we don't want, they don't have account but still they have a loan. So those details we want. So in that case, so this whatever we have done, take those minus who don't have their account. Depositors table, what we have? Account. Subtract this, then you'll get a person who is not having an account but still he has a loan. In which branch? In a Perry Ridge branch. This is what an example. So next, find the names of all customers who have a loan at a Perry Ridge branch. So same way, how I have find this branch customer name. Either I can write like that, or one more way to write the query. So I can combine this loan and borrower, or combine it, or I can do it separately. So this is how even we can get a query written. Next one, find the largest account balance. So now in third semester MCA, maybe let me assume that all of you have a account in Allahabad Bank. When you have an account in Allahabad Bank, I want to know who has more amount in their bank. Who has account more? Maybe we may say Arjun is having more account because he told in the last semester he has a laptop touchscreen or high end. So let us assume like that. Then I want to know how to fetch his name. How will I know that? So that's how here in account, what column I want? Balance. And in minus account balance. So in this case, find the largest account balance. Largest, I want to know, how will I know the largest? It should be greater than the balance of all others. Compare first person, compare USN 1 with the second, compare USN 1 with 3, compare. Like this we keep comparing and check whether the balance is, whose balance is greater. And that name I want, that balance account I want. This is what is an example for that particular thing. So next we may see formal definitions, how we use it. So something like relation algebra expression. E represents expression, even. E2 represent expression. So we have just seen about relations, but now we can do expressions for doing the operation. Even union E2, even minus E2, even Cartesian product E2. So then predicate, then sum, then Cartesian product. Like this, we can do any operations even with respect to expressions. Which type of expression? Relational algebra expressions. Then we move on to the binary relation operator. What do we mean binary? Binary means more than 1, 0, 0, 1 and 2. That is what generally we say binary. Means two relations. So two tables. What type of operations we can do on two tables? We can do natural join, we can do division, we can do assignment. The first one is natural join. What is natural joining? Joining two tables is called as a natural join. And let us take an example. R, A, B, C, D is one relation and S is E, B, D is another relation. Naturally, how do we join A, S, B, S, C, D? We write in A relation. In S relation, E, S. B, it is already there. D, it's already there. So then we write. So this we call it as a relational algebra. We just say this is a schema. But with a natural join, how we write R of A, R of B, R of C, R of D. Then we have R of E. These columns I want. How? What should be the column? In these two, which are common? B is common, D is common. So that's what here. B is common and D is common. From which two relations? From R and S. So this is what is called as a natural join. Taking one example with respect to tables, you can see R and S are two relations. I want to do natural join on this. So take first row, compare with this. So how many columns we have? A, B, C, D. Here B, D, E. Same way. A, B, C, D. Extra we have to add E. Then alpha 1, alpha A. So check with 1 alpha D. 1A, 1A. E is what? Alpha. So write like this. All the elements which are present here as well as present here. Remove the common elements. Then that is what is called as a natural join. So I'll stop here. We'll continue in the we'll continue in the next class. I'll stop here.